Acno versus Godly. We're going to have a Koji showdown.
Oh, this is exciting. All right, Godly versus Acno. For game number 1 on Mammoth Fortress, the weapon goes over to Godly. Acno gets the first hit, and it's bow versus bow here at the beginning. Let's see. Oh, man. All right, this is a great start for Godly, but I really don't know what to expect. Okay, okay. No way. When Godly hits you with a combo and Acno returns the same thing and adds 1 extra hit there at the beginning, that is exciting. Recovery on the way back up, and Acno's taking the lead here in game 1.
Acno's playing with some swag here, and I'm going to do my best TWK impression here. It's bows at dawn.
9 out of 10. That was great.
Thank you.
I honestly feel like I'm casting with TWK.
That's probably going to be an upgrade for you, so I won't be able to keep that up for that much longer.
All right.
But Acno might be able to keep up this pressure onto Godly, continuing as he picks up the sword, gets
Beautiful
the D-Light
dodge.
side air, looking for the KO. You see him chasing pretty deep.
Yeah, but that platform gave some great coverage for Godly's recovery until that D-Light recovery comes through, and Acno takes that first stock, juggles the weapon a bit, delays the next spawn, and gets a sidelight D-Light. Oh, the pivot gravity cancel neutral light catches Godly off guard, and that is Acno just popping off with the bow here on the second stock. Godly misses his neutral sig, and Acno's really styling here.
He's playing with so much swag on this. It was a beautiful change-up with that gravity cancel neutral light that he pivoted instead of the neutral signature that we saw from the beginning of the game. Still has the bow in hand. There isn't yet another weapon spawn in case he wants to go sword v sword, but I bet he just wants to stick with this bow.
Yeah, Acno has done a crazy amount of gravity cancel light attacks in neutral, where he's been catching Godly off guard and then turning it into a combo. The neutral light punishes him for being on the platform, backs off, waits for Godly to come back down, and he went for a weapon throw pickup. He doesn't get the weapon, but okay, Acno. All right, misses the ground pound. That time he does it.
Oh, he picked him up with that. I was wondering if the ground pound was going to be able to hit, if he was going to pick that one up. He clinched it. Got the stock. Now he has a 2-stock lead. Godly unable to take out Acno's first stock.
All right, Acno. All right, the D-Light recovery comes through. Acno has just been phenomenal. His movement's fantastic, and he's doing these like hit-and-run tactics with the bow neutral light, where he's just hitting Godly in a moment where he knows that he's in the air, but he doesn't go too far for it. And now Godly trying to equalize off right side of the stage. It's sword versus sword. Acno has been doing a really good job matching the weapons from Godly, but he gets the dodge down, another ground pound. I think Acno touched. He does dodge that D-Light, and he makes it back, but Godly is so far making this comeback look possible, as he has just been unstoppable here on his final stock.
Acno's recovery back to the stage was so good there in multiple situations, like one right after the other. Yeah. He saved his dodge for the absolute perfect time. He used his recoveries, his jumps, everywhere exactly when he should, so that he had a dodge when he needed to. It was perfect execution on that.
I can't. Acno's the only person that would fastfall gravity cancel neutral light with like 1 jump left and not get punished for it. We've got sword versus bow here at the end, and Acno does get by the weapon throw. Godly getting that recovery, gets the knockout. And I want to remind you that we're 2 minutes in the game, and Godly was on this stock this much damage versus 3 of Acno's stocks, and now it's equalized here. So this is pretty great from Godly, and Acno seems to be having trouble now that he's been stuck to the sword.
Godly has a lot of momentum on his side here as he's getting it ever closer. It's not going to take too much more before they are dead even. That hit did send Godly deeper into the orange. Acno is still in the yellow. That side light. I think 1 more hit and Godly's going to be in the red, which means Acno is going to start looking for that
nice
KO.
dodge.
Nice dodge there. The weapon spawn was available. It's a sword for Godly.
All right, D-Light recovery comes through. Acno sticking to the sword. Weapon spawn could come in. We'll see who goes for it first. Acno's been opting to stick to the weapon. He goes for the down lane afterwards, and Godly catches the landing, but the weapon throw misses. Acno also misses. Weapon spawn in favor of Godly, and now Godly could look for a down sig.
Nice.
Oh, the neutral sig snipes. Oh, it's anybody's game. D-Light ground pound whiffs, but the neutral light hits through as Godly's ground pound doesn't hit, and Acno, does he want to go for that weapon? I don't know. All right, who's it going to be? I think D-Light recovery does it with bow. Okay,
I don't know if it does, just because of that 45-degree angle. He does have the sword now, so a D-Light recovery on the sword, I believe, will definitely, if he picks it up on the soft platform. Weapon toss, that does hit. Look how far he got sent. Tazza, Godly over on the edge.
Oh, Godly can go back to the stage.
That was so close.
Bow down sig here, I think, would do it because of the weapon throw instead, and no dodge after the weapon throw, expecting that to hit. Godly gets caught off guard. Recovery from the sword takes him off the top. Really close game 1. After what I'm glad I didn't say the words, because it would have been Caster Curse, and now it's just actually a really good match where I was going to be like, oh, Acno's on the verge of 3-stocking him, because that's not what happened towards the end. Godly really came online there. And yeah, we're going to be going to a game number 2 where the damage differential is 15. It was That was so close.
Very close between those two. That includes the sword as well. If you just actually the bow as well. If you just look at that weapon specifically, it's going to be 312 coming out from Godly to 319 from Acno.
Look at the damage graph
so
there at the
both
end.
of them had kind of the
red
same
wave.
idea, but yeah, look at that. Over half of the last game was spent on Godly's final stock.
Yeah, that was an incredible tenacity. And now we're going back to Mammoth Fortress with the same legends, and I'm a little worried. Let's see how this plays out here. Acno had such a crazy performance opening up the bow. When he went over to the sword, it felt like Godly was just dismantling him. And now that the sword's been opened up with this game instead of the bow, it could be a very different opening, as Godly has just been winning.
Ooh.
All right, Acno finally gets through.
And that's the thing is, you can really never count on one or the other here. Like, obviously, we saw the comeback last game. It didn't actually lead in the victory, but we did see a massive comeback coming out from Godly last game. But the first of it started kind of good for Godly, but then all of a sudden, everything turned, and Acno had these amazing strings, these 3 hits, these 4 hits, beautiful signature usage in it as well to get the first stock. Recovery coming out. Godly still has the lead here as he's doing the juggle in air strings with that sword. Still maintains the sword in his hand as Acno swaps over to the bow. That was the weapon that both of these players relied on more this game, but at least so far, Godly's going for the sword.
Ooh, Neutralite hits. Okay, was trying to get a reaction from Acno with the ground pound. Okay, that is some stellar weapon guarding. And then Acno was just like, wait a second, I can pick this up.
He knows how far.
he
knows
reaches
how
his hand
far.
over the edge, he picks it up, sword's picked up, dodge in place. Okay, Godly went for the recovery there. Doesn't hit. Oh, that dodge was pretty well timed. Okay, how is Acno still alive?
That
Dodges
low
right
unarmed
through.
recovery. Here comes the bow. Oh, that downlight. You know Godly wanted that. You know he wanted that one too.
Oh.
He's searching for those downlights so he can get the true combo follow-up. I can't believe he went for the ground pound over a recovery that might have KO'd because they picked up so high.
Wow, okay. Finally, Godly finishes off that stock. Acno went for the diagonal chase dodge, unarmed nair too. He thought that the ground pound was going to bounce him off the stage that high. It just was a little bit off, but the D-Light recovery from there will pay off as Acno got so much extra damage towards the end of that stock as Godly just could not close it out. Damage numbers have to already be so incredibly high after that one. And Acno with that first Neutralite, this is where I feel like he's going to have a little bit more comfortable of a time against Godly. Acno's bow has definitely looked the best in this matchup so far today.
See him backing up just a little bit. Few whiffs here and there. Not too much punishment coming out from Godly. That weapon toss isn't really going to do anything because there's no immediate follow-up afterwards. So it's just a little bit of damage, a little bit of like a hiccup getting in the way of some of your major momentum. But still, Acno is definitely getting the better of all of these trades. It's one hit at a time that he's building up, pushing Godly deeper and deeper into the orange. And they're trading 1 hit for 1 hit, or it's like 2 hits to 3 hits of Acno. Oh, Godly
no,
actually pulled
it.
out of it. Still going to confirm the edge guard. Godly has the lead.
I wonder if Acno wanted to get a little bit more height before that down air input came out because he like stopped his jump momentum. And then it was just it. Godly look out a free edge guard over the edge there. But Acno now back over to the sword, trying to get this edge guard. Gravity cancel side light. Okay,
Oh, he kind of burned that GCD like really early. Almost like he was using it for a bait, but I'm not quite sure why he would be doing that. There's a GCD sig picking it up perfectly as Godly came right through him, turned it around, grabbed it. That's the KO. Acno still a little bit behind. He is in the yellow, is at weapon advantage, but now Godly has the sword in his hand. Every hit Godly makes is going to do just a little bit more damage than when he was unarmed. Already with the lead. Nice Neutralite there. Acno will be in the orange pretty soon. There's the Neutralite that does it.
Oh, delayed gravity cancel side light there. Weapon throw down. D-Light sider puts him off the side of the stage. Side sig punished by a down air. Godly gets hit by the recovery on the way back up. Neutralite connects Acno. For some reason, I thought he was going to Koji down sig. For sure. That would have been not the play. But it felt like the follow-up to do after Neutralite at that amount of damage. Godly now guarding that new weapon. There's a bow primed for Acno, but Acno favored the sword. Oh! Ouch. That was a series of unfortunate decisions for Acno on the left side of the stage there. The jump, the dodge down, everything.
That was one time where he burned that dodge really early compared to what we saw in the first game with him using them perfectly.
We're going to see
we'll see it here towards the end.
Yeah, I think he dodges.
There's that dodge. He dodges towards the stage, which really lines him up perfectly for Godly's ground pound.
There was twice in that game where I really felt like Acno gift wrapped a free edge guard to Godly there. There's more to it than it sounds like in Brawlhalla, obviously, but for for Godly versus Acno, the most I can say is that Acno's offstage felt a little weak, a little strange, because both of those times, I think it was off of the bow down air on the right side of the stage, used it too early, canceled his jump momentum. Godly just hits him with a down air. That's the stock. That time, he dodges super early towards the stage. There's no way you're missing a sword ground pound there. Godly now takes the lead. And we are going into game number 3 with Godly and Acno on both of these Kojis here. Wow, they're just going at it. And Acno starting off real strong with double recoveries. Okay, Acno did not want to touch the ground.
Now they are tied 1-1 in this set. Oh, are we having a little Godly lag moment? Acno being very nice, giving him a moment to catch his breath there. You saw the taunt coming out, signaling that the lag was over and they can resume normal play, but it seemed like some of the life was out of Acno's play last game, and not just because he lost. You saw the confidence still there. He was throwing some gravity cancel signatures, going for a few kind of wild, flashy things, but really none of them hit. And I wonder if that took some of the wind out of his sails. We'll see going into this one. I mean, obviously, you called it in the very beginning. He did not want to touch the ground, so he was still burning those dodges for a gravity cancel really high up in the air. Acno is still in the lead here. Godly's bow is out on the table. Acno's sword was just disarmed from him. That is going to be a free punish for Godly. He didn't want to go for the signature. I don't think he was confident in actually getting the KO. Needed to build up a little bit more damage so he could then pick up the sword, get the KO off the top with the recovery.
Yeah, there's some classic Acno maneuvers, in particular bow neutral air into a gravity cancel neutral sig, where he tries to read the direction that an opponent will try to fast fall through, either to the left or the right. Great job with that edge guard there. But you're right, Acno's gone for a lot of those maneuvers, and none of them have paid off yet. And I think you are correct in saying that that's taking the wind out of his sails a little bit in here. And Godly getting that first stock after being at a deficit with the delay recovery was a great catch. And now Acno and Godly are tied set, tied stocks, tied in damage. Godly having the advantage here with that ground pound, double ground pound, no recovery, that's it. Oh, he dodges through.
I didn't know if he was going to have frames. I didn't know if it was going to come back off of cooldown quick enough, but it did for Acno's sake. Godly is building up so much damage here. I don't think he was really ready to pick up that when he went for the nair rather than going for like a recovery or anything like that. And it's interesting that we're seeing both of them all of a sudden make the departure from the bow onto the sword. First game was bow dominated for both players, but now we're seeing the swap. 428 damage from Godly's sword, 225 from Acno's sword. You're seeing the swag coming out from Acno as he's now evened up this game.
Yeah, and that we were talking about the gravity cancel neutral sig follow-ups. That time Acno finally got one. It didn't lead to a stock, and the down sig's not going to either, but he could take the lead here almost off the back of the bow. It's interesting, when casting Brawlhalla games, I tend to look to see if a player is favoring one weapon or another on a character, but I actually think that in this matchup between these two players, they're just worried about weapon damage. I've noticed this a lot, like when Acno was juggling the weapons, so every time that I can trace, it's like, okay, he actually kept the weapon that was the healthiest. It was like the most recent, he had to take the least amount of damage on it. The delay recovery evens up the game 1-1. So I think that's interesting.
He has the choice.
Goes for the bow.
He swaps back to the bow.
Yeah. Yeah, because the sword was the oldest weapon on the stage, which is cool because I have in the past criticized players for when juggling weapons, sticking with the one that had like a bajillion damage on it, and they get hit by like a side air and it's just gone out of their hands.
That is an interesting another level to look at when you're talking about weapons, more than just like, ooh, I would like to play sword here, or ooh, I would like to play bow here. And we see that coming into play a lot when it's like, oh, I'm going to juggle 2 bows and pick the healthier one. But now we're seeing an additional layer on top of that when you have 2 different weapons.
Yeah. Oh man, this is so close. It's not even a game 5 situation. I can feel the intensity here because it is last stock, and whoever takes this brings it to match point, and that's so much more comfortable in a position to be in than the one that's at a deficit. Godly with the bow picked up, dashes forward, tries to bait something, and Acno actually punishes him for 2 sidelights, neutral light. I thought he was neutral sigging here for sure.
Oh, Acno. His momentum at the end of this game. It's bow v bow. It kind of started out that way, and Acno came out on top. Godly going in at the weapon disadvantage.
That was such a fast delay.
Swipes that one.
He picked it up, and the animation of the weapon spawning didn't even finish before the gravity cancel downlight came out. He was that quick about it. Neutral air. One more of those in the bow at that length. That's it.
It's because they were both so focused on the weapon advantage and getting that weapon. Acno knew when he was going for it that Godly was also just completely sprinting to pick up that weapon to give himself the weapon advantage. So coming out with that downlight immediately, waking up that once he grabbed that weapon spawn, that was a great idea from him. Acno able to take it. Like you said, it's match point for Acno. It's 2-1 in favor.
Now let's see if we get a change of scenery here. We've been on Mammoth Fortress all the time.
I don't think we will.
I am seeing a change in Legend, though. And Godly's locking in something that he played earlier on in the day. It's going to be the Rayman for game number 4. So this is with Godly's back against the wall. Doesn't want to go into the lower finals, and he believes that Acno has now he's claimed the title of Koji Mirror Match champion, right?
Yeah,
like,
Godly has relinquished that.
Yeah.
He recognized that the better Koji is Acno. Oh, and Acno, I think he's taken that and he's running with it, but we have to think about that axe that's in Godly's hands.
Yeah.
He hits 2-3 hits. Compare that to like the 6 or 5 that Acno throws out, and they're still basically even.
Yep. And every side light and air that Godly goes after there is going to be great. But Acno's been getting a lot of
The
mileage.
swag is back. The swag is back,
Off
baby.
the gravity cancel side light, and then the follow-ups afterwards gets the recovery and hits him on the way back to the stage. Dodges in place, but Godly doesn't get the punish down air, but the down air returns with his own. Neutral light hits. He's going for the down sig here.
And it's crazy because if you look at their health, they're pretty similar. Even though we've seen a lot of styling from Acno, we've seen a lot of lengthened strings coming out from Acno as well. But again, look how far that side air sent him. That would have been a KO if it was the other way. Godly dips out of the way, the clash out of the stage, and Acno's gonna fall.
That is crazy. What unfortunate knockback on the clash there for Acno. When they went in the opposite directions, Godly was sent in the direction that was closer to the stage. He uses that dodge at the last second to touch, and they both almost go down, but Godly, no, he comes out on top. And now in that edge guard scenario, Acno trying to equalize the stocks here. Nair hits, recovery misses, and Godly just needs one silent Nair to make this stock advantage worth it. And that neutral light's a great start. There it is.
Oh, he's getting way more than that, Tazza. That down air is going to bounce off the stage, cut a little bit of the momentum.
Nice.
I was wondering if Acno was going to be a little bit too deep in the push-off column to pick up that ground pound while Godly was right on the wall. He was still able to pick it up, put it in like that perfect spot to where if Godly was on the wall, he gets hit. If he fades off just a little bit to avoid it, he gets hit.
Yeah, it was pretty perfect timing too as well at the spot, because if Acno did the ground pound any sooner, absolutely you got hit by the axe recovery there. You had to time that pretty well, and Acno gets it. Down air comes through from Godly. Neutral lights hits, and Acno, waiting for that weapon spawn, guarding it with the bow, doesn't decide to switch over to a new weapon, and Godly whiffs that neutral light. Still in the lead, though. That Nair comes out pretty far off the stage, and that ground pound, oh, that could be huge.
He's going to go under, completely get away from that. Doesn't want to take a second one, because you know, getting hit by 2 bow ground pounds, even when you're in yellow, that's all but a death sentence. He's going to burn that dodge. It was a bait. He baited it so well, not even for like a massive punish. When he made your move, he just tossed his weapon up saying, I know what you're going to do.
Yeah, for a second there, I thought that Acno beat it with the Nair. Oh, he spot dodges the weapon throw from Godly and doesn't have enough drift to make it back to the stage. And now Godly is on the verge of bringing it to game number 5 on the Rayman. Oh, doesn't pivot the side sig. That's an easy punish for Godly. Gets a side light Nair after the neutral light. Godly has gotten so many of these on fresh stocks too. Neutral light, side light Nair. So great.
Now, Acno's still definitely in this, but right now we're on the way towards a game 5. I think we can still swerve the car and take the exit, giving Acno the 3-1. But as of now, our Google Maps app is taking us to a game 5.
Yeah, we're definitely not getting lost on the way there either at this rate. Godly with that D-Light recovery, waiting for the weapon to spawn. Gauntlets picked up. We haven't seen too much of his gauntlets.
I was going to say, is this like literally the first time we've seen it?
Yeah. I know for sure we haven't seen any gauntlet signatures. He tosses those up. Maybe he can go in for a side sig or neutral sig here. Rayman neutral sig on gauntlets is basically exactly the same in function as the Koji neutral sig. The difference being that you change the reach. I guess it's a little wider, but there goes. Acno gets the recovery, takes him off the top, and now it's 1-1, where I feel like these two players have been consistent enough that I'm comfortable saying Godly's at a huge lead. Acno would have to get a crazy series of reads to make this happen.
Now, I think based on what we've seen so far, lucky for Acno is Godly has gauntlets in his hands, and we're seeing Acno completely control everything here. Godly now in the orange. He's still in the lead against Acno. All he's throwing out is the weapon toss so far. I haven't seen too much damage just yet. So many whiffs coming out. Neither player able to capitalize until that side air from Acno's bow.
He's
going to continue to have weapon control. That takes away the axe that Godly could have picked up just now. Here it comes, and now is where I'm worried. Now is where I'm going back to. I think Godly probably has this.
I feel like Acno, if anything, I don't know how you do this. You bait Godly to go for a weapon throw. Because, that's...
that
all right.
one binks
all right.
him. And we are not turning around the car. We're going to be heading straight towards that game 5. No stops along the way.
Ooh. You know, when I said bait the weapon throw, I guess I implied.
This is so crazy.
I implied dodge it. That was sick. That was so cool. And Acno,
he
was actually so close to getting the Nair to get the chase dodge afterwards. I didn't realize that. Wow. Oh yeah, that spot dodge. I wonder I think Acno was thinking, because if you dodge into the wall, you lose iframes.
Yes.
Well, the second that you touch it, and I think he was worried about that happening, which is why he went for the spot dodge. He just didn't quite expect himself not to have the drift to make it back.
Yeah,
And
there
now,
definitely was overall a slight mistake on his part where he believed one thing that happened to be incorrect. He also, I think, could have dodged like up and diagonally, or even just like a straight up, maybe tossed his weapon and gone for the unarmed down air to get you closer to the wall. That's a lot of ifs, ands, or buts, but these kids got guts, and they're going to keep going into that game 5 to see who is going to take it. This one's definitely a nail biter, and it's a very lovely set that we are getting to watch firsthand here in the Winners Finals.
Yeah, it's a set that we really just haven't watched before. This kind
No,
of
they
set,
literally
right?
have like 0-0 against one another in both official and community tournaments.
So it was interesting to see. One of the most exciting things for me, at least when it came to the set, was watching Godly concede the Koji mirror matchup, and now going over to the Rayman and really doing a great job on it. And it was almost entirely on the axe. I know that you and I were both very surprised to see that Rayman had gauntlets as a weapon, because that was like, you could have fooled me after game number 4. And now it is game 5 match point. Winner of this goes into the winner's side of grand finals, and Godly staying with the Rayman against Acno on the Koji as we open up with a slight lead for Godly here on the gauntlets. And Acno just takes it right back with 2 recoveries and a side light. He's been so good with that this set.
So I wonder if there is a weapon spawn on the field now. I expect to see Godly swap over that axe, but there is the possibility that we'll see what he did with the Koji, where game 1 was bow dominated, and then both players actually swapped onto the sword. I don't know if we're going to see that from Godly's Rayman here. He is getting absolutely mixed by Acno here, but the game-changing opportunities that Axe has is going to give him the stock. The dodge was still on cooldown, didn't get it back in time.
Axe recovery is very good. And when he caught him in that position there, getting that spike on the back, and that was just it for Acno. He was in complete control up until that moment, and now Godly has an opportunity to do what he does best, and that's hit neutral light and a side light in air. That is what he's done every time he's had a stock advantage here on the Rayman, and he's looking for it, but Acno's trying to stop him from getting it started. Weapon throw comes through, gauntlets picked up, that's the stock for sure. D-light recovery off the top, Acno equalizes without taking too much damage and primes another bow this time around. But that weapon spawn was so perfect.
And if you're Godly, that's going to be an axe. So even though he did die there, he died with gauntlets in his hands. So it's sort of like a Koslik situation where he'll pick up that hammer on Scarlet, die with it, and that means his next weapon when he's fresh is going to be his more comfortable weapon, his stronger weapon. In this case, for Godly, it's the axe compared to Koslik's lance.
Ooh, weapon toss downwards from Godly, trying to fade something from Acno. There's the neutral light, but Acno fades away.
Oh, 2 of those, dude. That's like 38 damage almost.
Okay, that's 3. Weapon throw comes through, falls to the nair, picks up the gauntlets. Oh, but the D-light ground pound. Acno doesn't try to go for anything else. Oh no, okay, when you're unarmed versus gauntlets, I know it looks like a fair matchup, it's not.
He absolutely mixed him, bro. He sliced and diced him, sent him to his death. Just a little bit over 2 minutes into this game. Godly with the axe is so scary. It seems like he was definitely happy to concede the Koji battle. We saw Acno, I believe, hit with that exact same thing earlier. I can't remember which opponent it was.
That was so scary. And Godly did the second jump, and then the fastest as possible,
he knew that move. He
was
100% knew that move, because I think Godly hit that as well earlier today.
That was scary. Acno's trying to equalize. He's been doing so good, but when he's at these stock deficits of not taking too much extra damage, but Godly is getting Acno with that. He dashes forward, he goes to the weapon throw charged animation, tosses it straight down, immediately picks it up and gets the neutral light afterwards, and Acno's gotten hit by so many of those, and that sort of recovery is not going to do it, but a nair does. Takes him off the top. All right. Match point, last stock situation, Acno severely damaged, and he's going to need a few more hits than just 3 on the bow to be able to bring this back as Godly picks up the gauntlets and looks for that nair, pummels him down to the ground with the down air, but Acno with that side light pickup neutral light gets something on the board.
Oh, nice jump over that weapon toss. He also gets the weapon spawn, and it's the axe. It is going to be very tough for Acno to bring this one back. Godly should be very confident in these shoes right now, even though his feet are not attached to his body on that Rayman.
Oh, dive kick, gets the jump back.
Here's his weapon choice. There were 2 spawns right there, Tazza.
Yeah, that was perfect for Godly, and he's going to... Will he juggle this weapon spawn? No, he's looking for the neutral light. I think Axe neutral light, if he catches him here, oh, there's no way. Okay, that's it.
Godly just took out Acno. Game 5 situation. The rumblings in EU in the offseason have been that Godly is quite possibly the best EU player. And despite 0 tournaments for the past year, or really in his entire career almost, he's taken the first steps. I don't even want to say the first steps. He took a nice big old leap into proving that that may be the case between these two players.
I mean, when you take down Acno in winners finals in an official tournament, that's a pretty good.
Big.
That's pretty good proof, right? That's enough to convince me. I mean, at the very least, he's top 2 in EU right now. If we're just looking at this tournament alone for 2022, so wow, what a performance from Gali on the Rayman there against Acno. He wins it.